Hey everyone, how are we today? Just doing our monthly shadow work reading. Okay, it is the full moon in Pisces. Yes, it is different dates, around the world. So some of us are having this on the 17th, and for others, it is the 18th. I will be uploading this on the 18th. In Australian time. So I understand that's still going to be the 17th for quite a lot of you anyway. Subscribe to the channel if you're not already. I do really appreciate that support. It really does help the channel grow. So thank you so much. I am going back to my standard sort of decks this month. We have the Heal Yourself reading cards, as well as I do have the Shadow Worker Oracle this month as well. So sort of dual energy there, but also the Red Hand Lenormand, which is a bit of a deeper, darker dive into Lenormand as well. It does have a lot of extra additional cards there, so it does show through some of the darker stuff, especially with this particular full moon. It is going to be a rough one, guys. I'm not going to lie. It is going to be a little bit rough. The focus of this moon is kind of loss and emotions, being that it is in Pisces. Truth being revealed, though, being able to see through the delusions and see the truth, find that clarity of being able to sort of, see what's real and what's not. But it's all about letting go of control. It is a supercharged full moon. Also, the lunar eclipse in Pisces as well. So a lot of people may be able to see that lunar eclipse happening as well. But letting go of control, not forcing or influencing or manipulating things to get the changes, the outcomes that you want. So it's kind of the theme of this one. What will be, will be. Seeing the truth of the matter and allowing it to happen the way it needs to happen. Like I said, not going to lie, it is going to be a rough one. It is a time to mourn separations and losses that you've experienced. A lot of people may actually be experiencing small losses in some kind of a way around this full moon. So be prepared for that. But, it gives you that chance to deal with your emotions by being aware of clarity, learning to find new improvised ways of dealing with your emotions in order to find closure. It's also practice saying no for this full moon and not allowing your emotions to pull you, guilt trip you, overextend you into things that you're not entirely comfortable with or able to, take on. Making sure you are, practicing saying no and allowing things to just sort of happen the way that they need to happen during this full moon. It is rough as it may be, guys. It not going to lie, for a lot of us, it probably will be rough. The signs most affected this time around, we have Gemini, Virgo, Sagittarius, and of course Pisces, being that we are in Virgo season and it is a Pisces full moon. So it's going to be pretty rough on all of those signs there as well. So Gemini and Sagittarius as well. Okay, I'm going to actually start with Pisces today and go backwards, being that it is in Pisces. So we're going to start with Pisces. So you will see me sort of taking timestamps as always, guys. Getting into it, what we need to assimilate within ourselves, for our shadow work, what needs to be assimilated within ourselves. Okay, so starting off with our Pisces. Okay, Pisces, what does Pisces need to be aware of in regard to shadow work, please? What's going on for Pisces? What does Pisces need to know for their shadow work this month? Okay, we have a general theme here, Pisces, of taking off the mask. Okay, so definitely fitting with the theme of this full moon, Pisces. Taking off the mask, taking off those delusions, the things that you've been telling yourself, oh, this has to be this certain way, that could possibly be like this. Really removing those masks, the rose-tinted glasses, guys. Removing those rose-tinted glasses and seeing the truth so that we can start to actually deal with things and assimilate things here. Pisces, extra clarity for Pisces with their shadow work, please. Fear and isolation, Pisces. Fear and isolation. So, maybe taking the rose-tinted glasses off about, areas in your life where you are fearful of isolation, or you are isolating yourself from certain energies in your life. Taking those rose-tinted glasses off and seeing it for what it is, so that you can find some sort of closure with that and move forward. Okay, the fear one does say, face your darkness. It's the only way to find the light. Without the darkness, there cannot be light. Without the light, there cannot be darkness. But, fear is the opposite of love. So focusing on the love energy for yourself here, Pisces, and overcoming those fears, facing that darkness and allowing it to assimilate within, okay? That we do need a balance of dark and light within ourselves. Accepting, yes, I have this fear. Yes, it's rational, not rational, whatever that may be for you. Isolation, in solitude, discover your true self and connect deeper. So I do feel, though, that some of you are sort of scared of isolation. Some of you maybe have been isolating just a little bit too much as well. So, kind of, once again, I've mentioned this to Pisces before, that it's that flip side of the collective. Some of you, and you're going to know which side of the collective you are on, as to whether you identify as, more extroverted or more introverted. Are you someone who has been spending too much time in solitude, or are you someone who has been, a little bit afraid of being alone, okay, a little bit codependent maybe? So focusing, what is it about that you're fearing? What is it about getting out and talking to more people that you fear? What is it about sitting by yourself that you fear? Whichever side of that you're on, Pisces. Clarifying shadow work message for Pisces, please. Clarifying the shadow work message for Pisces. Actually, we'll do it as advice. Advice for Pisces with their shadow work. Advice for Pisces with their shadow work, please. Understand that transformation takes time, Pisces. We have the moth followed by the hourglass. So we do see transformation coming for you, but we do also have divine timing at play here, Pisces, that, sometimes transformation within self, it takes a little bit longer sometimes than you wish for it to take. Divine timing, everything happening in the way that it needs to for you. So, understanding that the universe has got its own sense of time. It doesn't, rushing ourselves, forcing ourselves to, transform, find closure, those sorts of things. That may not be what the universe is wanting from you, Pisces. Taking the time, allowing things to happen a little bit more, back to the main themes of the month. It will be what it will be, accepting that if no need to push it, no need to rush it. It will be when it needs to be. Okay. I will transform as I need to. All right. Allowing that to happen, not holding back, but not pushing it either. And then we do see the house as well. So finding security within self, in the sense of emotional security, mental stability, security within your support network, your friends, your family, the places that feel like home to you. You are very advised to, rely on that network, that house, for yourself. For some of you, I'm definitely seeing this isolation message coming back through again. It's time to spend some time at home rather than out and about and busy all the time. Okay, so, once again, though, I am picking up on both sides of that there. It's time to take that mask off and ask yourself, do I need to get out more? Do I need to stay at home more and within myself a little bit more? Relying on the structures that exist within your life. So family, friends, relying on those structures to really support you through your journey of transformation here. We definitely see transformation, in the near future for you. Don't be afraid of that transformation either, Pisces. It's all part of that assimilating the dark and the light all coming into one and balance within yourself. Okay. So you're more than welcome to check out your other placements. I do suggest your moon sign on the full moon reading, of course, but we will move on over to our Aquarius. Okay, Aquarius. What does Aquarius need to know in regard to shadow work? What does Aquarius need to know for their shadow work this month, please? Aquarius. Oh, hang on. I have to shuffle one more time. There's too many messages trying to come out for you, Aquarius. Aquarius, shadow work for Aquarius. Just one card, please. Shadow work for Aquarius. Dreams. The shadow realm is calling you, Aquarius. Your dreams have been trying to tell you something, have been trying to get you to face something that you're not facing with your conscious mind. Your subconscious mind is aware of this issue, but you're consciously not facing that. Clarify shadow work issues for Aquarius, please. Shadow work issues for our Aquarians. I'm picking up for you, Aquarius, that this full moon is not actually going to be too bad for you guys. I don't know why I'm picking that up, but pride and illusion. So illusion is one of the themes of this full moon, seeing through the illusions and, seeing the truth, finding clarity. So, we do have issues of pride, though, coming through here as well. Pride, true worth is measured by character, not accolades. Okay, it does have the keywords here: arrogance, vanity, and ego. I'm getting this held back energy from you, Aquarius. And it has to do with your subconscious versus your conscious. I'll look into that a little bit deeper in a moment. The illusion card, seek reality, even if it's raw and challenging. Fantasy, deception, mirage. So definitely time for you to start seeing the truth of yourself. See the truth of, the things about yourself that you're prideful of. Because you do, it feels like you do have a certain thing here, Aquarius. It's a certain quality that you pride yourself on. But when you actually see the truth of this quality, you realize that you are actually being a little bit arrogant about that quality because you're not actually as developed in that as you feel like you are. Sorry to be confronting, but it's your subconscious. Maybe that's why you're experiencing pride and arrogance about that quality, because you hold it as very important. And I feel like once again, sorry to be confronting, Aquarius, but I feel like you judge people very harshly when it comes to this particular quality. Are you able to show me what this quality is? Are you able to give me more information about what this quality is sitting in Aquarius's pride? We have the bear coming through here, Aquarius. So you're telling yourself you are very strong. Telling yourself you're stronger than other people. You're telling yourself you have more power over others. That you're in a role of strength and protection. That you're the boss kind of thing. But it's kind of like you're telling yourself that because you don't truly feel that. And the more, it's like you're trying to fake it till you make it with that quality. And when somebody tries to put their power, their authority, their own inner strength and stand up for their own self, that there's something about you that jars with that energy. And it's kind of like you for some of you, you may outright have like issues with authority figures, and You may have issues with like boss figures at work and things like that. Because, you know, it's about who's exerting control, who's exerting power over the other. The power dynamics. So even in relationships, there may be like a real struggle for power here. So there's something about that you know, the illusion needs to come off, that you're not as strong and powerful as, you know, I'm not saying that you're not strong and powerful, but it's more about denying that others are as strong and powerful as you. So it's kind of like, you know, that's why we're seeing these power struggles, because you're kind of saying, I'm stronger, I'm more powerful, therefore I'm the boss, I'm the one that needs to make the decision here. And you're not taking other people's power on board and not allowing them to have their own power. You're kind of trying to take control a little bit here, Aquarius, and say, you know, it's a little bit like my way or the highway. Like, I'm the one that's right. I'm the one with the strength and the power. So we have to do it my way. And you're not taking that on board with other people a little bit here. So just be careful with that. I feel like this is, you know, your subconscious already knows, and that's why, you know, you feel like you need to fight for power. You need to fight to be the strongest one. That's why it feels like it's a fight all the time, because your subconscious knows that, do you know what? It's okay to be a little, you know, because what happens is you're perceiving yourself as weak. If you're not the one in power, you perceive yourself as weak. That's what it is. That's exactly what it is here, Aquarius. It's when you don't have the power, you feel like that means that you are weak. That is not the case. So it's time to see through that delusion, that illusion, that that, you know, absence of strength is weakness, because it's not. You can both be powerful. You can both be strong. You know, sometimes true power and true strength is allowing, you know, whoever is the most adept to take control, even if it's not you. Okay? I kind of feel like that's the main message for you here, Aquarius. Any advice for Aquarius with their shadow work? That one got deep. Straight off the mark, Aquarius, and you guys get deep on me. Try to be more playful, okay? This is light-hearted, playful energy, optimism that, you know, I can try this again. I can start over and try things again different ways. I can break free of the need to be in control. We have the scythe there as well. So I can break free of that need to be control. I can try things in a new way. I can have a new beginning where I am more childlike and free, open to being just playful with it, rather than, you know, feeling as though I have to rear up against it. We also have the Tower here as well. So for some of you, you may need to take some time in solitude. For some of you, this is actually saying that every time you feel that need to rear up and take control, to be the one in power, walk away. Walk away. Spend some time to yourself for a second. You know, I feel like for a lot of you, it's literally just walk away for 5 seconds, take a breath, allow yourself within your own self to just take a moment for yourself, get it out in your own head or whatever. Find the light, back to the fun, playful, I'm just going to roll with it energy. Okay. Deep. I love that you guys had to go deep on me, Aquarius. You are more than welcome to check out your other placements, especially your moon sign being the full moon. Subscribe to the channel, and I will move on over to our Capricorns. Okay, Capricorn. What does Capricorn need to know in regard to shadow work this month? What does Capricorn need to know for their shadow work this month? Capricorn. Shadow work for our Capricorns, please. Self-love, Capricorn. You've had a rough run. Not going to lie, Capricorn. The energy has been thick and heavy for you. This year has been, we're seeing transits that are affecting you heavily. We had the double full moon in Capricorn. It's time to stop. It's time to chill. It's time to look after you. Stop carrying the weight of the world on your shoulders, Capricorn. It's time to look after yourself. I'm picking up here, why are you fearing stopping and taking care of yourself? If you see self-love, even I rolled my eyes. I'm a Capricorn as well. I rolled my eyes as soon as I saw it. Not gonna lie, but it's like it's part of what you really need at the moment, Capricorn. And it's kind of like I'm picking up a fear of self-love from you, that you kind of fear loving yourself for some reason. Clarify shadow work for Capricorn. Capricorn, clarify shadow work for Capricorn. That's why you fear it. Okay. Judgment. Judge less, understand more. Judge yourself less, Capricorn. Understand yourself more. Allow yourself compassion and understanding. The keywords here: criticism, evaluation, and condemnation. You're evaluating yourself with that Capricorn mindset. Why are you doing that? It's all criticism when it comes from yourself, Capricorn. Why are you doing that? If you sat down, and I'm going to put this in work terms, okay? Like you're going in for an evaluation with your boss, for example. The boss has a form. This is the evaluation sheet for every single employee. Capricorn, you're meeting this criteria. You can do better in this. Why, when you turn around and you're adding boxes, and anything where it's like you still need work on this, you are taking that and running with it, and it's negative when it comes to yourself, Capricorn. Why do you have a harder evaluation sheet to meet than every other employee? Why is Capricorn feeling like they have to be evaluated to a much higher expectation than every other employee? So and this is within yourself. You're doing this to, you're evaluating all the people around you. You've got certain expectations on all these people around you. Why are their their expectations are here? Why are your expectations on yourself all the way up here? You're putting too much on yourself, Capricorn. You need to start maybe thinking about yourself as if you're a completely separate person. And like, I'm getting a personal example here too, like, because when you are a reader and you're reading, a lot of the time it can be quite difficult to do readings for yourself because, personal bias and things like that. And you kind of worry that your own, personal bias and the outcome that you want is influencing the way that you're drawing cards or things like that. So, I sometimes struggle with this myself, that, sometimes it is really difficult to get a reading for yourself because you're not listening to your intuition as much. You're listening more to your rational mind saying, oh, well, I want this to mean that. So, that might, you, especially with cards like Lenormand, where we can have multiple meanings within each card. I might tend to say, if I want that to look like, oh, that I want the answer to be that I'm going to have, money show up for me this week. I'm going to read a card and I'm going to see, oh, I'm going to take that meaning because that's the one I want. Whereas, the true meaning of what my intuition is trying to tell me, no, maybe you need to be more tight with your money this week, Michelle. Calm down. Personal bias. But when I actually do readings for myself, what I do quite a lot of the time is I'll actually set up my camera and, as though I'm doing a private personal reading for, because I do personal readings online as well as in person. So I will actually set up my camera and do it as though I am doing a reading for somebody else, treating myself as an external person. And then I'm getting a non-biased reading. And I know it's non-biased. And I'm not, the way that I actually listen to my intuition is non-biased, and I'm not having reality inflicting itself upon my intuition. This is kind of what you need to do about yourself, Capricorn, is put yourself as a total external person. So, like, instead of saying, I am so bad at this, or I need to get better at that, talk to yourself. Michelle is really good at this. Michelle she needs to get a little bit better at that, but the level she's at right now, that's fine. Talking to yourself as though you're an external person, that you're not yourself, if that kind of makes sense. Because it may actually just help you see how much difference of expectation you're putting on yourself as what you would put on an external person. I feel like that's the thing here, Capricorn. And that's why we're seeing self-judgment, we're seeing self-love. We do also have trauma coming up. So I do want to let you know, Capricorn, that even though you're not one of the signs most affected, you may actually have some sort of trauma popping its head back up for you this full moon. A lot of Capricorns, it's kind of renowned that Capricorn are the ones that go through trauma, especially early in childhood in their life. There may be some issues popping up around this full moon that are sort of throwing you back straight into the emotions from those traumas, because it is such an emotional full moon. I feel like for a lot of you with that trauma card, that's what's happening here. Is there may be something happening that reminds you of an emotion that you had during a trauma event in your life, someone related to a trauma popping back up, those sorts of things. There may just be the emotions coming through. All right, the emotions from trauma coming through this full moon for you, Capricorn. So just really be aware of that. Make sure that, all your strategies that you have in place to deal with your traumas, that you have those in place at the moment. And especially too, because this full moon, one of the things I said right in the intro there, chance to deal with your emotions by being aware, learning to find new improvised ways to deal with and find closure. So for some of you, this is actually an opportunity to finally find some sort of a closure with one of those traumatic experiences or something that causes you inner trauma. Okay, I will read the card. I'm babbling a lot for you, Capricorn. Your scars are proof of your resilience and survival. You're not the person that was being traumatized, victimized. You survived. You're a survivor, Capricorn. Okay. I feel like I've kind of covered anything, but is there any advice you want Capricorn to know in regard to their shadow work, please? Any advice for Capricorn with their shadow work? I'm not going to lie, I'm going to have to take lots of pauses during this reading just to deal with the emotions coming up for me myself. It's your advice. That's your advice. We have the chains. We have the letter followed by the moon. So there's those emotions straight away with the moon. Things that have, the trauma popping back up. the self-judgment, the chaining yourself to a certain expectation of self. Talking to yourself about that, talking to yourself about why you're feeling those emotions, and allowing yourself to actually not talk about the chains that bind you, but talk about why that happens for you emotionally. Okay, focusing on the emotion of the trauma, not so much the actual trauma. For those of you who are able to deal with trauma, and this is really, it's giving you a chance to break free. It's giving you a chance to break free and really, really communicate through those chains and through those things that have held you back in the past, especially the emotional connections to those things, and really break free from that energy. This full moon is a very powerful one for you, Capricorn, in that sense, like that it's actually a bit of a release for you, I feel, being able to finally find some sort of closure within your own emotional self. From some of those traumas and self-judgments that you've put on yourself here. So, if you're not someone who is able to deal with those traumas, do not do that. That is perfectly fine. If it's related to actual trauma in your life, nobody is telling you that you need to actually face that. If you aren't able to, do never ever force that. Okay, it's something that you need to do in your own time, but for those of you where you are able to do that and look at those issues, that's coming up this full moon, so there may be something popping up around that trauma stuff for you this full moon as well, Capricorn. Okay, but you are more than welcome to check out your moon sign being a full moon. Subscribe to the channel, and we'll move on over to our Sagittarians. Sagittarius. Okay, Sagittarius. What does Sagittarius need to know for their shadow work this month? Heavy one for you guys this month. Go with the flow, Sagittarius. Try not to force it. Okay, just take it as it comes. Shadow work for Sagittarius. Shadow work for Sagittarius, please. Inner child. What is it about your inner child wound that is coming to the surface for you this full moon, Sagittarius? For some of you, it's the need to recognize your inner child. Recognize that everyone has an inner child and it's okay to have an inner child. That you can't ignore that sweet little part of yourself. That innocent part of yourself. Sagittarius, clarify shadow work for Sagittarius. Clarify shadow work for Sagittarius, please. Yeah, we have neglect. That's what's happening with your inner child at the moment. Tend to your inner garden and it will flourish. Okay, that's your inner child coming through, trying to make itself known again. The keywords on that: disregarding, overlooking, forgetfulness. Okay, you are overlooking that sweet, innocent version of yourself that does exist within you. That version of yourself that looks at life like, wow, this could actually be amazing. You're neglecting that optimistic, beautiful, adventurous, sweet soul within yourself. You really need to bring that inner child back out to the surface this full moon. Do something fun, playful, just for the sake of fun. Okay, whatever that is for you. Everyone does things differently. I personally like to go climb a tree, or go to the playground and go down the slide and all those sorts of things. Really good ideas. I'm hearing actually playing in the mud for somebody here as well, Sagittarius. That might be something. And I'm also actually seeing, I maybe wouldn't recommend this one, but it's not Halloween yet, so maybe it's not too bad. But I'm seeing someone playing with fire. Like when you were a kid and you would have the candle burning and you would dip your finger over it, and brush your finger over it, just, see how close you could get to the flame before it started to hurt. I probably wouldn't recommend this one. For some of you, though, if you have the opportunity over this next couple of days to like go somewhere where they're like doing fire twirling or something like that, that may actually be really good for your soul and for your inner child to see somebody playing with fire. I don't know why it wants you to play with fire. Sagittarius, like, seriously, please don't. I am not responsible for anybody burning anything down, okay? I'm taking that. I'm telling you, don't go and play with fire. Maybe just get on YouTube and watch a video about, like, fire twirling or something, or fireworks or something. That's such a weird message to get. We also have depression. Okay, maybe that's what's needing to pop you out of your depression, Sagittarius. Seeing someone playing with fire. This too shall pass. Every storm brings a rainbow. Okay, so shadow work is for depression is knowing that, you know, you're neglecting care for that depression as a little bit as well. For some of you here, that I'm kind of feeling someone's like neglecting acknowledging the depression, the sadness that they feel. Seek help, go to your doctor, get into therapy, all those sorts of things, okay? I keep seeing on all the YouTube channels that I watch, all the sponsors are ZocDoc, so go for ZocDoc, guys. No free sponsors. No sponsors at all. Okay, it's a small channel, so I have no sponsors other than my passion. But ZocDoc, guys, I hear good things. Maybe they'll sponsor me. Go ZocDoc. Every storm brings a rainbow. Depression is our soul's way of. I know that this is very when you're depressed, you're going to hear me say this, and you're going to be like, "You're an effing idiot, Michelle." But it's kind of true. As someone who has, I have depression is one of my jams, I suppose. I have, had clinical depression multiple times in my life. It's a symptom of my mental illness, that I do have depressive periods. I'm not going to lie. It's not easy to pull yourself back out of that. But depression is your soul's way of telling you that things are important to you. So when you feel that despair of nothing, like of nothingness, try to remember deep down that you wouldn't be feeling the depression about that if it didn't mean something. It is your soul's kind of way of telling you that it's not nothingness. It actually means so much that your emotional capabilities and your mental capabilities just cannot handle the overload. It's an overload of emotion, depression is. And a lot of the time it feels like nothingness because that's your body's way of coping, your mind's way of coping with that overload. It sort of sends you into an overload. It's like a hard factory reset. The nothingness, the despair, and it shows you that there is meaning there. That's really deep, and I hope that that's not too much. Sorry, Sagittarius. Like I said, that's something that I have personally experienced, and there's just something about that it's stop neglecting that the depression, acknowledge the depression so that you can do something about it. And start taking action to do something about it. That's part of your shadow work. Your inner child wants to come out and be free. You know, children are sweet, innocent. They don't have to worry about things like depression and things like that. Your inner child doesn't understand how you feel. You need to protect that sweet little baby inside you. Oh, I feel like someone like needs to slap me right now, because it's like I totally get it though, right? If you're someone who deals with depression and you are currently depressed, you probably want to slap me right now and say that's not helping, but it's what I'm sort of being guided to tell you and say. So Sagittarius, just deep. I get it, Sagittarius. It's hard. There's no easy solution. It's a constant battle every single day. It's something. It's not easy. It's insanely difficult to pull yourself out of that. That's why you need to take steps to find someone, something that can help you with that. Okay, you don't have to do it alone. Okay, there's people out there that can help you. All right. Advice for Sagittarius with their shadow work. Advice for Sagittarius with their shadow work. We have the child. There you are again. We have the bear. We have the ruins. So the ruins is that depression. The child, there's that inner child. The bear in the middle, protect and nurture that sweet little baby from the ruins. You need to pick that sweet little child up and carry them. Protect and nurture. Protect and nurture your inner child so that you'll find your way through the ruins of your own self. Sorry that was so heavy, Sagittarius. You are more than welcome to check out your moon sign, being that it's the full moon. Subscribe to the channel. I'm just going to take a quick pause so I can clear the energy, and we will move on with Scorpio. Okay, Scorpio, how are we? Whoa, losing cards all over the place, Scorpio. Sorry about that. Hang on, I'll change your timestamp, Scorpio. I'm getting a bit ahead of myself, obviously. We'll move you to 43. Okay, Scorpio, sorry about that. Okay, Scorpio, what does Scorpio need to know in regard to their shadow work? Scorpio, shadow work for our Scorpios. Pride. Okay, what is it about pride? With that particular card, you can kind of see that it's the half the beautiful woman, half the skeleton. Something where you're hiding the darkness is what's coming through. Clarify shadow work messages for Scorpio. What does Scorpio need to know in regard to shadow work, please? We did see a pride-related message for Aquarius as well, so some of you may want to check that one out if you have strong Aquarius. We do see avoidance as well as shame. So yeah, it's shame for the darker parts of yourself. You're avoiding the darker sides to yourself because you feel shame about those, existing at all. Shame does say, embrace your flaws. They are part of your unique story, with the keywords of humiliation, disgrace, and embarrassment. Avoidance. Face what you fear, for avoidance is but a temporary refuge. Evasion, neglect, and denial. So your pride is avoiding your shame of self, avoiding your flaws, avoiding your darker parts. You're, taking pride in this very carefully curated image of yourself. This particular full moon, it is all about, seeing the truth, breaking through the illusions. So, I'm kind of picking up here, Scorpio, that if you don't deal with that yourself and embrace those flaws and take a bit more pride in your flaws as well, as being part of the, the unique fabric that makes you you. Good and bad. Good and bad. Everybody has good and bad, not just good, not just bad, okay? I'm kind of picking up that, especially with this full moon, that if you don't do that, people are going to notice and people are going to see those flaws, whether no matter how hard you're trying to hide those. And then, the more that you're trying to deny those and the more that you're trying to hide those, if someone were to call you out on that, it's going to potentially create a lot more problems for you than if you were to actually, face and accept, yes, I feel like I'm not good at this, or I feel like I have this particular bad quality. I embrace that. That is part of who I am. I accept that. And, you can then choose to just accept that and not change. You can choose to change that about yourself or work on that quality within yourself. The more that you avoid it, the more it's going to pop up for you and create more problems down the track. Okay, so just be aware of that. There is something that you're avoiding. Your pride is kind of forcing you to avoid even looking at those flaws that you perceive like in yourself. Avoiding looking at, those darker sides of yourself. They're not flaws. They're just part of who you are. Scorpio, advice for Scorpio with their shadow work. Nobody is perfect, Scorpio. Firstly, we have the key. So opening up to your heart to embrace those flaws is the first step to successful transformation of those. Okay, we have the moth coming through there as well. So opening up to that side of yourself, opening up to the darker sides of yourself will lead you to successfully being able to transform and embrace both, sides in balance, and move forward in a way that, you are happy with yourself. We do also have the cross. So for some of you, this is a deeper spiritual thing that's going on for you. So this transformation, it is actually part of a deeper spiritual storyline for you here. Things happening the way that they need to happen, that, destiny takes its toll. Like I said, if you don't embrace those negative things about yourself and even acknowledge them, if destiny is going to throw it in your face and chuck something in your way that is going to point those back out to you one way or another. So, wouldn't you rather do it yourself than have it be that giant kerfuffle when destiny goes, that's it, you're not facing this, bang, I'm going to throw this at you. So there is a deeper spiritual evolution going on here for you, Scorpio. And it's the first step for you here is to, take pride in the darker side of yourself as well as the light side of yourself. Stop hiding from both, because when we hide from the darkness, we also hide the light. We dim the light. Okay, you cannot have light without darkness. So I feel like that's sort of what's coming through for you, Scorpio. You are more than welcome to check out your other placements, especially your moon sign being the full moon. Subscribe to the channel and we will move on over to Libra. Okay, Libra, what's going on for Libra with their shadow work? What does Libra need to know this month in regard to shadow work? Shadow work for Libra, please. Wow, you saw me shuffle, right? We just had the exact same one for Scorpio. So remains to be seen whether your message is going to be exactly the same. But we have had similar issues with not just Scorpio, so if you're on the cusp, but also Aquarius. So if you do have strong placements in either of those, you may want to check those readings as well, especially if it's your moon sign being the full moon. But we do have number 7, pride, coming through for you, Libra. Let's have a look and see what we can glean from that. Extra clarification for Libra, shadow work for Libra. What does Libra need to know in regard to shadow work, please? There's one more for Libra when it comes to shadow. Okay. We've had these 2 cards for others already as well. Capricorn had one and Sagittarius had the other. So far you're covering nearly all your bases. We've got, Scorpio and Aquarius both had pride. Capricorn had judgment. And Aquarius also, Sagittarius had depression. Okay, so a lot of you may be really needing to check your moon sign as well for this particular month. There may be, some extra messages coming through for you or extra information in one of those, whatever's strongest for you. If you do have, a strong placement or a moon sign in one of those signs, I would suggest checking it. A conjunction, I'm getting someone out there that you may have a conjunction in a specific sign, which is just like, from my understanding, I'm not, super well versed with astrology itself, but I understand a conjunction is when you have like more than 3 placements in one specific sign. Is that what it's called, a conjunction? I can't remember. But that's what I'm talking about. If you have a placement where you've got, the same, like 3 different planets in the same sign, maybe check that one. But judgment, judge less, understand more. So your pride is coming through as a bit of judgy, but it's coming from your own pride with your own self. That it's coming through. It's similar to one of those other ones I read. Maybe Capricorn as well. You're putting very high expectations on self here. That you're holding others to the same level of pride that you hold yourself. So this, for you, I feel like this is about the way that you view other people around you, and your pride in others reflecting you. That you're kind of like, if someone around you does something or says something that you don't align with, and you are judging them for that belief or whatever, and you're actually taking it very personally here as part of your own pride system, that you kind of embarrassed or shamed by that person saying that, because you're feeling as though it reflects on you. So there's something about that where you're judging people too harshly a little bit here as well, Libra. You are holding people up to, it's like you have very high expectations on yourself, and you're holding others to those same expectations. But there's something here about understanding that other people are not you. Okay, so for example here, you may have a high expectation on yourself that of the way that you present yourself physically. Okay, so you're like, every time I leave the house, I have to look a certain way. I have to be, fully well dressed. I can't go out in my pajamas or, slouch clothes or anything like that. And then, you go out and you meet up with someone for coffee and they're wearing their slouch clothes or their pajamas even. They've got fluffy slippers on, and you're judging them very, very harshly, and you're taking that as a personal slight, as a personal embarrassment that, oh, how can I dare be seen with this person in their pajamas? It doesn't look bad on you. It looks bad on them if it even looks bad. It's eyes. I'm getting that beauty in the eyes of the beholder thing, but it's like to do with other people's perception is not the same as your perception. That other people may not judge that person as harshly as you are. It's kind of like you're sitting there with this person in their slippers and you're worried, oh, that person just looked at us like they must think I'm such a slouch myself because this person's got slippers on. And the other person's that walking past, they're actually like, oh, what a great role model. I wish I could be as comfortable in my own self to wear my slippers up the street, and they're actually looking at that as though it's a really positive thing, that like, oh, wow, that person's so comfortable in their own self that they don't even care what people think about them. And so it's that beauty in the eye of the beholder thing where, other people are actually seeing what you're seeing as a negative quality and you're judging someone for. Other people may actually see that as a really positive quality. They may have a different opinion than you, and that is okay. I do feel here with the depression, thank goodness on you, Libra, not being quite as hard on me as Sagittarius was. If you are someone with a strong Sagittarius placement and you do resonate with, strong feelings of depression, maybe check that reading because I'm sorry, but I cannot deal with that energy again. I'm not going through that, the whole thing I went through with that, with what I was talking about. So, but I do feel for you here, Libra, that this is more of a warning, okay, that you're kind of depressing yourself. It's not over nothing, but it's your high judgment that it leaves you to feel very, it's leading you to not see the rainbow. This too shall pass. Every storm brings a rainbow. So I don't feel as though it's like out and out, like full depression for you, Libra. If anything, it's anxieties and worries and concerns, that if you don't check this behavior, that it will lead to something more severe, like full-blown depression. Okay, is what I'm kind of picking up here. And then how much are you going to judge yourself? Not going to lie, with the pride and the judgment. Take as much pride in your own mental well-being as you take in other aspects of your life. Stop judging other people for their, and for some of you here, it's like, yeah, stop judging other people for their expectations of their own pride because it's different to yours. Like, feeling like I'm convoluting that a little bit. So sorry. I hope that makes sense to what I'm trying to get at here. Advice for Libra when it comes to their shadow work. Advice for Libra with shadow work, please. I always try to do shorter readings and it never works for me. Advice for Libra with shadow work, please. Just looking at the timestamps and I'm just like, it's going to be another 2-hour reading. We have the whip first and foremost. Punishing yourself for other people and your expectations of others is not fair on you. That's leading you to that depression. Creating conflict, creating drama where there maybe is none. It's your choice here. The crossroads, followed by the cross. So it's kind of like the advice is to kind of stop creating conflict and drama when it's a choice to do that, because it's not your choice. It's out of your control. This is somebody else's choice if they wear slippers up the street. That's not your decision to make. That's not your body to decide what it's going to wear up the street. So you're kind of creating all this conflict and drama within your own self over a decision that is not yours. So it's like you're trying to control something that is not yours to control. Okay, so it's a conscious choice here to allow others to walk their own path. You focus on your path, Libra. Don't worry about where others are walking. If they're walking in slippers and they step on glass, is that really your problem? It's not your foot that needs to be bandaged, it's theirs. Okay, so of course we know you're going to be there for them with a band-aid at the end of the day, but or maybe that's just me that carries band-aids around. That reminds me, actually, I need to put more band-aids in my handbag. My friends think it's hilarious because even we were in a club one time, and my Libra friend, my Libra bestie, she'll know what I'm talking about because we were in a club one time and some random person was saying, "Oh, I cut myself." And I was like, full mama bear, "Look, I got a band-aid, I'll fix it." nursing this person's like leg or something, putting band-aid on this person in the middle of a crowded nightclub. So bizarre. This is one of the things that happens when you're a mum, all right? And a Capricorn, you're over-prepared for every solution possible. But we do also see the cross. So this is part of your spiritual path of your own here, Libra, to be able to, lower the judgment and expectations on others and worry about your own path. Okay, I feel like that's, take more pride in your own self and less pride in others, that you have no control over others. Stop worrying about what path they're walking down. Worry about your path, because your path, you're coming into some spiritual evolutions within your own path here. So definitely keep this is part of your spiritual evolution, your part of your growth, Libra, to release the judgment on others and take more pride in your own path rather than trying to control anyone else. Because then you will find what I'm kind of picking up here is the more that you're able to do that, the more pride that you will have in yourself that, do you know what? I used to care about that person doing this and that. And do you know what? I'm going to wear my slippers too. I dare you. It's maybe it's just one of them things, Libra, but it's like, you never know, the more pride that you have in others, and seeing it in another way, like be like that person walking down the street going, geez, I wish I had that confidence in self to do that, and not care what all these other people think. Your friend probably still cares what other people think. Their comfort is more important to them than, wearing slippers down the street. What a weird example to keep using, I know. I do go a little bit loopy on these shadow work readings, guys. They are such long readings. It does sort of scatter me a little bit. So I just try to allow the messages to come through as they need to. And sometimes that gets a little bit scattered. So I'm sorry. But that's what we have for you, Libra. You're more than welcome to check out your other placements, especially your moon sign being the full moon. But we will move on over to our Virgos. Okay, Virgo. What does Virgo need to know in regard to shadow work this month? Shadow work messages for Virgo. Shadow work messages for Virgo, please. Shadow work for Virgo. This can be, it's going to be a rough one, Virgo. I'm not going to lie. This full moon is affecting Virgo heavily. And I feel like this is actually something, this is going to go deep. Not going to lie. It's such a we have love, okay? So it's such a lovely subject matter, but it's one of the things closest to our heart, so it goes deep. Virgo, clarify shadow work for Virgo. Shadow work messages for our Virgos, please. Why are we seeing love as a shadow work necessity for Virgo this month? And it does feel like a necessity this month, Virgo, that you need to deal with this. Yeah. Starting off with anger. Okay. Use its fire to transform, not to destroy. So love has left you in a rage. This is like a giant thunderstorm full of fire. Frustration and resentment. Love has left you with a lot of resentment towards love. I want to say here, Virgo, someone that you love or loved very deeply hurt you big time. For some of you, this was parental stuff too. I'm picking up that it goes back. It was someone that you loved for a very long time, so it definitely could have been a parental figure. Or it's for some of you, it's like every time you love, you get hurt. It's like a repeated thing. This full moon is definitely bringing up a lot of emotions, I'm not going to lie. And it's our opportunity to try to deal with them in a different way. And to finally find some sort of closure. And I feel like that's what it is for you, Virgo. It's all about trying to find some sort of closure with the pain, with the depression of love that has been in your life. We do see sadness, hopelessness, and despair. So some severe grief attached to loss for you this full moon, but also a lot of anger and just red hot rage. How could they do that? Why did they do that? It's not fair. It's not, Virgo. It's not fair. I'm hearing that hearing that 3 Days Grace song, Pain. It goes, pain without love. Pain, I can't get enough. I can't remember the rest of the words. I would have to sing it, and it's like, I don't really want to sing it. But you might want to look that one up if you want, because geez, that it does help you get through some of those emotions a little bit. I'm not gonna lie. Is it just me that uses music to like release emotion? That particular song may actually really help you deal 3 Days Grace in general, guys, like especially if it's parental stuff. You know, or you know, because there's another song I Hate Everything About You. That the healing that comes from that song and getting some of that rage out with singing along to that and feeling that as you're hearing that song. It's actually about addiction, but geez, I released some anger towards my mother with that song. Not gonna lie. Use its fire to transform, not to destroy. The anger. Anger is a hard emotion sometimes because it is an emotion that wants to hurt. And if you don't release that, it hurts you, leading to depression, even more grief and sadness. Love is such a hard thing to feel so much anger and depression about, because love is supposed to be the opposite to those things. But your anger and your hurt, they're justified, Virgo. They are justified. It's okay to feel that. It's kind of normal to feel that when you get hurt so much by love. It's about using that and transforming that energy. That's why we're seeing it in your shadow work, because there is so much emotion there, so much feeling behind that. That, can you imagine if you put that feeling, that emotion, the power of that rage into positive for yourself? You would be unstoppable. It's holding you back from being unstoppable, Virgo. So it's time to really look at some of the darker emotions this month and work through them a little bit. Please don't allow that anger to turn into physical hurt, because anger is something that can very easily lash out at others, that can lash out at ourselves. You need to release it and face it in order to release it. Yell and scream. Go. Oh, I really want to, go axe throwing. That's a really good one. I know that there's a few places near me where you can go axe throwing and throw axes. I actually tried it in Bali, and I had a stuffed up shoulder, so I wasn't very good at it, but I thought I was going to be so good at axe throwing. I wasn't. I was nowhere near as good as I thought I was going to be. But there's also places you can go, what are they called? Smash rooms, where you can hire a room and you can just literally go and smash everything up in that room. Go to the op shop or whatever, get a bunch of crockery, go somewhere safe where it's safe, make sure you've got thick clothes on or something, gloves and stuff. Smash them up. Have you ever smashed a fluoro light globe? This is probably not a good thing to do. I don't think it's very good for, I think there's a powder that releases, but if you've ever smashed a fluoro light globe into a dumpster, feels so good. It's such a release. It's something maybe like that you need to do, but I'm not advising doing any of those things that, putting yourself in any danger or anything like that. I'm just trying to sort of help you think of practical ways to help release the anger. Go and get, bread making with anger, because you have to knead the F out of that dough, and you can punch the dough and then you get bread. It tastes like anger, but whatever. You can eat it. It's still good. You toast it with fire to transform it. Transform that anger. Create something into something new. Bread. And then you toast it to get the anger out. Go knead some dough with your anger. Virgo. Advice for Virgo dealing with their shadow work, please. Advice for Virgo for dealing with their shadow work, please. We have the ship. Get moving. Time to take action. Time to start that transformation we were talking about. We have the moth energy there, transforming that anger into something else, into a more accurate perspective of what love can be for you here. Okay? Self-love, Virgo. We have the heart there as well. So transforming that anger into love for self. Anger over love that has hurt me into, I don't deserve this. I deserve more. I love myself enough to know that the love that I deserve is more than this anger has created, more than I've been given in the past. Transforming the way that you feel about love, because right now you feel anger and hatred even towards love, and that is not what love is supposed to be, Virgo. Okay, so I feel like I've given you guys a lot of practical ideas on how to deal with that. So let me know in the comments, if any of those grab your attention. or how do you deal with anger when, if that's something you've done before, any of those sorts of things, how do you sort of deal with those things and move through the emotion so that you can find that closure? I'd be very interested to see if anyone, has any other ideas, because mine probably aren't that practical, like smashing stuff. It's probably not the most practical advisory thing. Like I said, listen to the 3 days grace. You're more than welcome, though, to check out your other placements, especially your moon sign being the full moon reading. But we will move on over to our Leos. Okay. Leo, what does Leo need to know in regard to shadow work? Shadow work messages for Leo. Shadow work messages for Leo, please. Shadow work messages for our Leos. Entrapment, Leo. What is leaving you feeling trapped? Trapped within your own mind. Trapped within yourself, I feel, for a lot of you. Trapped because of something. Trapped in a cycle, maybe? No, that doesn't feel quite right. It's trapped within yourself somehow. Clarify the shadow work message for Leo, please. Shadow work for Leo. I've seen this first one for a couple of different signs so far. I think both Libra and Capricorn, I believe, had Judgment as well. Judgment. Betrayal. So that betrayal is a big part of why we're entrapped here. I'm getting, you feel like there was no justice, because I'm getting justice with the Judgment energy for you, Leo. And you feel betrayed because there was no justice for whatever has happened here and left you feeling trapped and isolated. Judgment. Judge less, understand more. Criticism, evaluation, and condemnation. You're feeling as though, because I do feel for a lot of you this is condemnation of somebody else. And you just feeling as though justice has not been served, that person was not condemned, that person did not face their judgment for what they did to you, is what I'm hearing. The betrayal energy. Healing begins with acceptance and forgiveness. Deception, treachery, backstabbing. What did this person do to you, Leo? I feel it's important to ask yourself. I know it feels very, very unfair on you, Leo. But you need to ask yourself, What happens if this person never faces judgment? What happens if this person never faces justice? No, it's not fair. It's not fair on you at all. But are you going to continue to allow that to hold you back and keep you trapped? Because the more entrapped that you are allowing yourself to be by the lack of justice, the more the scales are tipping in their favor. You know, like, it's kind of like I'm getting here, Leo, that the way you fight this and the way that you get justice is by getting up and glowing up and doing better than they thought you would ever be able to do after this. It's like that energy of like, I'm going to get up and prove this person wrong. That's my justice, is that I'm going to have better than they ever even thought I would get. Like, I'm really getting this, like, getting up and fighting, tipping the scales in your own favor by, you know, getting up and fighting for justice for yourself. This person may never face actual judgment or justice for what they did to you, Leo. The way that they face that is by the way that you choose to live your life after that betrayal. If you're keeping yourself entrapped and isolated, they win. It means that, you know, the lower that you go, the higher it raises them. But do you know what? The higher you push yourself, the lower they go. That's how you tip the scales in your favor. You do better, you get up, you do better. Sorry to be so brash about that, Leo, but that's what's coming through here. Advice for Leo with their shadow work, please, because I am getting you're trapped in a jail of your own making. You're trapped in your own mind here. That the more that you allow yourself to feel trapped, the more you're actually allowing this person to win. Advice for Leo with their shadow work, please. Advice for Leo with shadow work. You're creating these problems in your own head. Not full, like I said, it's unfair, it's unjust. You were betrayed. Fair enough. But the more that you're thinking about that, the more that you're giving energy and thinking about that and constantly feeling anxious about that, trapped by that, you're creating, you know, this jail within your own thoughts. You're confusing yourself and clouding your own judgment even more. Okay, so it's time to, you know, get your head off the subject altogether and just focus on living your life, getting down out of the clouds. Stop letting that cause you more anxiety, more depression. You know, it's clouding your judgment, and you need to make a conscious choice here to follow your own path. Regardless of what this person has put you through, it's time to get up and start walking. Okay, Leo, I'm sorry to be so brash about this, but this is how it's coming through. You need to get up, put one foot in front of the other. Get up out of that bed, wherever you're trapped within your own mind, because that's what that is, that clouds, that's within your own mind. Start walking one step at a time. Look, light's at the end of the tunnel. Light is definitely at the end of the tunnel. We have the sun coming through as well. The sun is your card, Leo. Your inner strength, your inner happiness shining through, breaking through those clouds and shining at the end of that tunnel as long as you start moving, putting in the work, walking your own path, regardless of what that person has done to you. It's hard. It's not easy. You might take 2 steps and fall down. You get back up, you keep walking. Happiness will come. Happiness will be revealed. The truth gets revealed at the end of it all. Judgment will come. It may not be in this lifetime, but judgment will come. The way you tip the scales in your favor, focus on the sun, not the clouds. Keep walking. Okay. Sorry to be so brash. I'm a little bit surprised at myself there. I do generally try to be a little bit more calmer about how harsh I'm saying things. So I am sorry, Leo, but that's how it was coming through. You are more than welcome to check your other placements, especially your moon sign being the full moon. Subscribe to the channel. I'm going to just take a quick pause and we will move on with Cancer. Okay, well, we'll move on over. And Cancer, what does Cancer need to know in regard to shadow work? What does Cancer need to know for their shadow work, please? Cancer. Oh my gosh, the cards do not want to shuffle for you, Cancer. Cancer, shadow work for Cancer, please. I don't know why I'm having so much trouble shuffling for you, Cancer. Alchemy. You're ignoring your magic. There's magic within you. It's within you to turn this all around. Alchemy is commonly known as, turning things to gold, right? This is what you're ignoring your power to do that. You have the power to change this. Whatever's going on for yourself, you have the power to change this. And you're ignoring your power. You're ignoring your magic. Clarify shadow work for Cancer. What's going on for Cancer with their shadow work, please? There's multiple possibilities here, Cancer. Firstly, we have regret. Okay, that one says, the past cannot be changed, but the future is still in your hands. Okay, this is what you need to change. You're looking back. You're looking back at the things that you didn't do, the things that you missed out on, the things that you hold regret for, things not working out the way you wanted them to. You know that's already happened. You have no choice over that, unfortunately. No control over the past. It is what it is. What you can change is where you allow that to take you next. Okay, that does say remorse, sorrow, and rue. Okay, I do feel a bit of anger towards the past as well, coming through here. But we also have pride coming through. True worth is measured by character, not accolades. So you regret. There's a lot of you that are regretting. I didn't have this. I didn't get this. I haven't gotten to this point in my life where I want to be. I'm not. I'm not good. It's not that you're not good enough. It's that I should have this by now. I should have that by now. I regret not dealing with that sooner so that I could. It's you're kind of regretting the future that hasn't even happened yet because you're so focused on what you haven't achieved, what you didn't achieve, rather than having pride for where you are right now. Um, you're having pride for a version of yourself that doesn't exist because you're only seeing what could have been, what should have been, what isn't, rather than using that to spur you on to change what can be and what will be next. There's definitely an issue here with the way that you're holding on to the past too strongly, and it's actually like affecting your future at the moment, like because you're not focused on the present and the future, you're focused on the past, and where that should have led you, what your present should look like or could have looked like if the past had been different. You're not focusing on and just accepting it is as is and going from there. If that kind of makes sense, because I feel like that's what needs to happen is you need to, move from the past into the present and accept what currently is. Acknowledge this is my life right now. This is where I am right now. Yeah, I probably could have been a lot of different things that that I'm not right now. I am getting a lot of materialism here too, Cancer. So I'm getting things like, if this hadn't happened and I had have taken that job, I would have X amount of money by now. I should have a house, a car, a blah, blah, blah by now. Rather than accepting this is where I currently am and this is where I want to go. How do I get there? Rather than, because the more that you're dwelling on, oh, I should have taken that job back, 5 years ago, and then I would have had a house and a car by now. What do I need to do right here, right now to get that house and car that I want? What changes do I need to make? You're too busy focusing on what you should have done years ago, not what you should be doing right now. Okay? So taking a little bit more pride in your current situation and acknowledging your current situation. True worth is measured by character, not your accolades. Okay, so there's a little bit of materialism at play here as well. So, being less caring of the accolades and less caring about the house and the car, but more, I'm the sort of person that if I want something, I'm going to make sure I get it. That character that you have within you, you have the power to change that. You have the power to make those things happen. But the more that you're stuck in the past, you're blocking those things from actually being able to happen in the present and the future. Okay. Advice for Cancer. Advice for Cancer with their shadow work, please. Advice for Cancer with shadow work, please. Clarify those two as advice. Clarify those two as advice. Why are those two cards coming through as advice? There's new beginnings. There's definitely new beginnings here for you, Cancer. The cards I have, firstly, we've got the dog coming through, okay, which is the card of friendship, support, understanding, compassion. Having more compassion for yourself, for where you've been, having more understanding and compassion about, that's where I have been, acknowledging that. I'm getting a bit of a weird message here, Cancer, with your advice, because I do have the void and the ruins coming through here. So this is where you've been. This is the past that you're looking at. You're looking at the ruin of your life as it currently is, because it's like you've stared too long into the void here, Cancer, and all you can see around you are the ruins. of what could have been. But that's where that alchemy is very important, and that's where that understanding and compassion is very important for understanding this is where I've been, this is not where I'm going. There's definitely a message here about flipping the script on yourself when it comes to past, present, future. The way that you're looking at past, present, future, past, present, future. Okay, the past should be something that you learn from, not something that you are stuck in or are focused on past potential, because that potential is not current potential. That's not the present potential of you. That was the past potential you may have had. But do you know what? I'm kind of getting here, stare into the void, because and really come at yourself with a bigger understanding of the bigger picture here, because you stare into the void and you realize that, okay, I can't stop focusing on this past event that stopped me from being able to achieve this and this. Staring into the void, and you'll say to yourself, well, as the example that I used, that if that hadn't have happened and I had have taken that job that I was offered, yeah, I might be looking at a future where I have the house and the car that I want right now. But stare into the void long enough and you'll see that anything could have happened from that. You don't know. You don't know what could have happened. It's like the future is unknown. So, when you took that job, what might have happened is you took that job and then you had a workplace accident where you lost a leg, and then you never got the house and the car anyway, because you've got no leg, so you would have to relearn how to walk, let alone drive the car. The house that you wanted, you can't have that house anymore, because all of a sudden you need a house that's accessible for somebody with only one leg. Like, stare deep into the void and sort of see that the potential futures that could have come from that timeline could have not been what you wanted and expected anyway. It could have been a totally different life to that house and car that you're seeing as, it should have been this, it should have been this. You don't know what would have happened back then. Okay, like whatever happened, like, because think back and think, if you're stuck in the past, stare into the void and come up with alternate options for what could have actually happened that were not the outcome that you're denying. You're saying, oh, I missed out on this and having this life because of that. Well, no, maybe you missed out on a totally different life altogether that, ended up being, way worse than the one that you're currently in. Like, what happens if you had taken that job and, you had to go away for the job for a week and you got kidnapped and, or worst case scenario, you got unalived or something, you may never have had any life, you workplace accident, you lost a leg, you lost your life, it could have gone any way. It doesn't necessarily mean that if you had done that or had that thing back then, it does not mean that you would have that specific outcome. It could have gone anyway. That, I feel like that's what that's kind of saying. And to sort of focus here on, when I do ask for clarity, we have the fish and the rider. So focusing on the abundance that you do have moving forward. Good news, I do have this in my life. Good news, I've stared into the void and, I've really thought about the abundance that could have created. And do you know what? More money, more problems. It's all about shifting your perspective and, finding that power within you to shift that perspective and change that, from the gold that you're imagining it to be, that wasn't really gold, because now I've got the opportunity, because where I am right now, I've got the opportunity to create diamonds. I would never have settled for gold if only I had known that this life that I am in right now, this present I'm in right now, I've got this opportunity. I've been under all this extra pressure. Do you know what comes from pressure? Diamonds. I'll take the diamonds over gold any day, says Cancer. It's it's looking at what you've got right now and moving into the present and working out where you want to go from the present to your future. That, you know, rather than looking back into the past of the future that you envisioned, because I feel like the future that you envisioned was not the future you would have had. Okay. So maybe think a little bit about that, Cancer, because it does feel as though the future that you envisioned was different. It wasn't what you thought. You never would have met that person. You never would have seen that thing. You never would have had that experience. You never would have learnt that lesson. You never would have had what you've got right now. Little as it may be. You never would have had that right now. And where you are right now, you have this opportunity to transform the future into whatever you want it to be. Start from scratch. Start from here. Don't start from back there. Start from here. Okay, Cancer. Sorry to be a little bit full force there, but you know, sometimes when the messages come through, I just got to get it out. So that's what we have for you. You're more than welcome to check out your other placements, of course, especially your moon sign being the full moon. All right, but moving on to our Geminis. Okay, Gemini. What does Gemini need to be aware of for their shadow work this month? Gemini, shadow work for Gemini, please. You are one of the 4 signs, Gemini, that are going to be a little bit more affected this month than others. And I'm seeing this message for nearly half the signs this month have been getting a message related to pride. Okay. So Aquarius, Scorpio, Leo, I believe. No, Libra. All had pride messages coming out. So you might want to check your other placements if you do have strong placements in a particular sign, or, you know, check your moon sign being the full moon. But Gemini, let's have a look and see how pride relates for you. Okay. Clarify. Shadow work for Gemini, please. What's going on for Gemini with shadow work? Gemini, what's going on for our Geminis with their shadow work this month? We have rejection. We also have apathy. Okay, very interesting energies here. This is actually very different to the pride messages we've seen for some of the other signs. I'm picking up something here, but it's not coming through very clearly. So we'll start with these cards here, and we'll talk about those for a second, because this message is trying to come out. It's just, when it does that to me, sometimes I'm just like, if I just start talking, it comes out naturally. We have apathy first of these cards here. Ignite your passion, for it's the antidote to indifference. So we do have apathy, indifference, disinterest, and detachment. In self, I feel for a lot of you, detached from yourself, detachment from pride for yourself, that apathy, it's like, I just don't care. So igniting your passion to counteract that, to actually start taking pride in the person that you are, the life that you're living, the passion that you have within. We also have the rejection. Okay, so this may be a strong player in why we're feeling very indifferent. Through the sting of being left out, we discover our inner worth. So denial, dismissal, and exclusion. So you're excluding yourself from the world here, Gemini, that you're you're kind of so apathetic at the moment that you're rejecting the world, rejecting your place in the world. It does heavily have to do with your own self-worth here. Because every time I see that like just right now, I'm looking at the word rejection, and I actually keep seeing the word reflection instead. So there's something to do with the reflection of, like, the reflection of seeing others taking pride in themselves and their passions and their life. It's making you feel even more left out. I am picking up on an energy here of focusing on other people a fair bit here, Gemini, that you're feeling very separate from the world, but you're busy, like, watching the world and telling yourself that you don't live up to that standard. Sorry, sometimes when the messages come through heavy, it gives me physical reactions sometimes. Because it does feel heavy. It's just I'm not quite able to grasp the scope of this one. Because I think it's because you're kind of in this energy of apathy where you're like, I don't care. And, like, there's a part of you that truly doesn't. You're so detached from yourself at the moment, Gemini. Clarify this message. Clarify this message for Gemini. Gemini. That's not the first time I've called you Gemini. Not gonna lie. I don't know why it comes out as Gemini sometimes. Gemini. I sound ridiculous. I know, it's okay. Gemini, clarify this message for Gemini. How does this relate to Gemini's pride? Something strong to do with emotions. And definitely getting busy, staying busy. I keep feeling like this message is above my pay grade, Gemini. It's like literally hurting my brain right now, trying to receive this message. I know I want to cry, though. We do have the feminine and the moon coming through here. So there is a strong emotional component to this. But you're just so far removed from your own emotions that I'm really struggling to grasp this message for you. It is clearly telling you to reignite your passion And there's something about nurturing your emotions here. And like protecting yourself. It's not protecting yourself, it's your feminine energy, your softness. That's what it is. It's take pride in your softness a little bit more here, Gemini. The sweet nurturing qualities within you, the softness within you, the feminine qualities, the emotional self. What is my lizard into? My goodness. Needing to take more pride in that softness, instead of rejecting that. It feels like you're trying to be so masculine. I don't care. I don't have emotions. Trying to tell yourself, I don't have emotions. That you're unable to even face your emotions at the moment in order to deal with them and find closure with them. I don't completely understand this message, Gemini. I'm not going to lie. I don't completely understand what I'm saying. I'm just sort of trying to channel the message for you directly. We do also have the scythe and the city. So there is a need to break free from the nothingness and surround yourself as much as you can. I'm kind of picking up a little bit of like fake it till you make it kind of energy, where you are needing to kind of, surround yourself, keep yourself very, very busy, very, very involved, get involved in more things, make sudden, unexpected choices to surround yourself with as much as possible. Whether that be things that you're passionate about or people in general. In order to help nurture these emotions on a subconscious level, take pride in, because you are taking a lot of pride in the fact that you're very non-emotional right now, and denying your emotions. You are seeming to be, really rejecting a lot in your life at the moment and taking pride in that. And I feel like that's why this message is kind of like, I'm not going to lie, it's kind of hurting me to bring this message through here, even though I don't understand it. Let me know in the comments if you understand that message, because I do not understand that. But I'll ask for advice here. Advice for Gemini with their shadow work. Advice for Gemini with shadow work, please. It's something very deep here. It is really deep. I feel like it's deeper than I can even comprehend. I'm just like scratching the surface of it. We have the hourglass. So divine timing is at play for you here. Things are going to happen the way that they need to happen in the time that they need to happen. We also have the cross. It's time to start releasing some of the burdens that you're carrying and allow yourself to deal with some of this stuff. Stop telling yourself that you don't care. The cross is also very spiritual. So, it may be time for some of you to face your, it might be time for some of you to face the depths of your soul. And that you're on this spiritual evolution right now, and you need to stop ignoring the things that you know that you need to face within yourself. We also have the rose. That's just telling me, I don't get that message either. Beauty and the Beast. Make friends with the beast. To reveal the man is what I'm hearing. That's all that's coming through. Oh, Gemini, that's what I've got for you guys. I'm sorry if that doesn't make sense. I hope that makes sense to somebody out there. And that gives you some sort of marker to work with, some place to move from when it comes to shadow work this month. You're more than welcome to check out your moon sign, being the full moon. Also, any your Mars placement and any placements that you have where you have, if you have any placements with 3 planets or more in one sign. Check out those readings. It may actually help give you an extra layer of understanding, especially too, we have seen that pride card or the other pride in the other deck come out for quite a few signs. So, there may actually be an extra layer of meaning through your moon sign or another placement. So it kind of helps you understand what I'm talking about here. That honestly, I'm not going to lie, Gemini, that was a mostly channeled message because I don't understand that at all. So I do hope that resonates for the people that it needs to resonate for. Subscribe, guys. I will move on over to Taurus. Okay. All right. Taurus. Shadow work message for Taurus, please. What does Taurus need to know for their shadow work, please? Oh, Taurus. Thank goodness, your energy. Not going to lie. Gemini just threw me out. It's like, actually, don't mind me. I'll just shove a rose quartz in there just so we can stay clear for you. Okay, Taurus? Shadow work for Taurus, please. Ooh, Capricorn had this same card, Taurus. So if you have a Capricorn placement, you may want to check that reading as well. Some of I am picking up, maybe because my sister is a Taurus and I'm a Capricorn, but this might be something that you guys connect on and can help each other with, because Capricorn had self-love as well. Okay, time to face the stuff needed in order to love ourselves just a little bit more, taking some time to love ourselves and look after ourselves, Taurus. Clarify this Taurus message for shadow work. I said that backwards. Shadow work for Taurus. Shadow work for Taurus, please. Anger, as well as ego. Anger, the keywords on the anger, we have rage, frustration, and resentment. Whereabouts in yourself are you holding resentment for yourself that is holding you back from being able to fully love yourself, to love the person that you are, regardless of your flaws and all? Whereabouts are you holding anger and resentment towards yourself for doing that, doing this, being that, saying that, being like this, being like this? You keep saying to yourself, I can't stop being like this. I've always been like this. How do I stop being like this? You don't need to stop. You just need to accept that that's something I'm working on. That's something I'm getting better at every day that I face that issue. That's part of who I am. Like it or lump it. Use the fire of anger to transform, not to destroy. So that resentment, that anger that you hold towards yourself, rather than using it to burn through you and destroy the good things about yourself, use it to transform those perceived flaws into, qualities that may actually not be as bad as you think that they are. Because I'm picking up on things like, oh, why do I always tell people what I think? That's a good thing, Taurus. You're honest, you're open, you're truthful. It's rewording some of these perceived flaws to yourself. Why do I always act this way? There's probably a reason that you act that way. If you didn't act that way, how would you act? Might be a question to ask yourself. Because ego, we also have the ego card here. Beyond the facade of ego lies the depth of true character, arrogance, pride, and vanity. So, some of those perceived flaws, it's part of your facade. Those flaws are actually part of your facade of your ego. So that question I just asked you feels very important here, Taurus. If you didn't act in that way, if you didn't, do that flaw thing, whatever that is for you, what would you do instead? As an example here, every time I get stressed or cranky about something, I yell at someone. I feel the need to yell and get my anger out, or I get very argumentative. If you didn't do that, what would you do instead? Would you hold that in and not say what you truly think? That doesn't solve anything. That doesn't solve those conflicts. Sometimes the way that we act, we may see it as a flaw, but in that example, when you get irate and you even if you yell a bit or you argue, at least you are being honest with how you feel and your emotions, and those issues are being known to the person. Sometimes you need conflict if you want to resolve conflict. Those issues are never going to get resolved if you don't tell the person. Yeah, sure, you shouldn't yell at them and tell them, but the opposite of holding that back is not the answer either. So it's talking about, finding some love for yourself and realizing that there's a method to the madness, okay? There's a reason we are the way we are. We can't all be too perfect, Taurus. That would just be unfair on the rest of us, right? Advice for Taurus. Advice for Taurus with their shadow work, please. Advice for Taurus with their shadow work. We have the crossroad. Conscious choice, Taurus. We have the anchor. We have the ruins. Okay, so there is a conscious choice here to love yourself. Choose to love yourself. Choose to, do you know what? I can rely on, if nothing else, yeah, I might perceive this flaw, I might resent having this perceived flaw within myself. Hey, but at least we can rely on my actions. We know how I'm going to act. I know how to react to things. I know how I'm going to react. It's actually a stable, dependable energy within you. So it's choosing to find, the stability within those things, the reliability within those things. and allowing it to, you know, not hold you back from facing the ruins of that thing. Like, I'm not making sense. Because you're allowing it to weigh you down and to make you feel as though you are left in ruins. But, you know, sometimes the ruins are necessary in order to rebuild. That you know, if you want this, you know, to choose to be secure in self, sometimes you need to smash everything down and allow it to be ruined in order to rebuild it stronger and better. So I feel like that's kind of what the message is here. Choosing to find the stability and reliability within yourself, and knowing that this is just a part of me. But do you know what? I can smash that down and rebuild better, bigger, stronger, faster. It's the depth of my true character to allow, you know, the fire of resentment to transform me rather than destroy me. Okay, the ruins, that's just part of the transformation before it gets rebuilt brand new. Okay, so rely on that being necessary. So I kind of feel like sometimes relying on conflict actually being necessary, and if you're the one bringing that conflict, so be it, Taurus. Love yourself anyway. You know, conflict is part of nature. It's part of, you know, look at the cycle of the world. Look at how much conflict exists within the world just in general. Why is it not okay for you to have a little bit of conflict within yourself? Learn to love the conflict. Learn to love it. You know, you can't always win the fight, but you can win the war, which ultimately the war is being able to love yourself regardless of how many fights you've won or lost, if that kind of makes sense. You're more than welcome to check out your moon sign, you know, or any other strong placement that you have. I just say moon sign because, you know, full moon. But subscribe to the channel and we'll move on over to our Aries. Okay, last but not least today we have Aries. Aries, what does Aries need to know in regard to their shadow work this month? Shadow work for our Aries, please. Shadow work for Aries. I'm an Aries moon, guys, so sometimes things hit a bit close to home. We have love as the main theme for you, Aries. Issues around love. Who was it we saw the love coming through for? Virgo, maybe. Virgo, I think. But, you know, you may want to check any other strong placements that you have. Check your moon sign, being the full moon. That usually is quite strong. Especially with this particular full moon being an emotional one. And the moon sign usually does connect very strongly to your emotions as well. So there may be something from your moon sign that you can sort of add a bit of an extra layer of awareness on things for you. Aries, shadow work for Aries. Clarify for Aries. Shadow work message for our Aries, please. Aries. I've had this first card. I've had it for a couple of signs. Not going to lie. We do have depression coming through first, Aries. So the keywords on that one, sadness, hopelessness, and despair. But it's this too shall pass. Every storm brings a rainbow. So currently in the storm, for some of you, I'm kind of getting the eye of the storm. So, you know, knowing that, yeah, I might have cycles of depression. Some of you, this is like full-blown depression. Others of you, not you know, just a bit of grief, sadness. This too shall pass. I feel like for you here, Aries, it's part of the cycle, part of what's necessary for you to work through this. It's about moving through this. I do keep getting this storm energy. It's like the storm comes through and cleanses and transforms and, you know, gets rid of all the crap. I feel like this is what this, you know, this is, you know, because something I said, I think it was to Sagittarius, I said, depression is our soul's way of knowing that these things truly matter to us. And sometimes even when we feel nothingness, it's actually overwhelmingly feeling everything too much that our brain sends us into, you know, shock, where we all of a sudden in nothingness, the nothingness of grief, of depression, of sadness. It tells us that those things that we're depressed about, or our life in general, that there's a deeper emotional connection to our life, to those things, than we allow ourselves to feel. I am picking up, similar to what I felt for Virgo here with the love thing, that for some of you, this is, you know, the theme of love, but for others of you, this has got to do with, you know, things like parental love. It does also have to do with, you know, feeling as though every time you love, you get hurt. And it's like I keep getting cycles for you here, Aries. Like, and every time I love, I get hurt. And it's like there's this fear attached to the idea of love. And it, you know, you're sitting there in this depression going, you know, it's kind of like, I'm so sad that I haven't got love in my life, but I actually have a fear of love. So, you know, I'm trying to not allow love in at all in the first place. But then I'm like getting even more depressed because I haven't got any love. You know, it's this catch-22 that happens. We do also have insecurities. Okay. The keywords there: doubt, uncertainty, anxiety. Your worth is intrinsic and unchanging. Okay, so that's actually bringing to light here your worth, you know, the value of you as a soul. That's intrinsic to who you are, and it's unchanging. You know, you are more valuable than you think. That, you know, you are not more or less valuable than anybody else in this world. Okay, regardless of how you see yourself, regardless of how society sees you, you are not more or less than anybody. You know, every soul weighs the same. Every, you know, and I know this is not physically accurate, but the weight of your heart is more important than the weight of your soul. Okay, like when it comes to the way that we live our life. So the more that you're avoiding love and pushing love away, the harder you're making this other stuff on yourself. You're very insecure. That, you know, I do feel with that insecurity and the fear of love that I'm picking up on here. There is a fear of rejection. There's a fear of being abandoned. A lot of you may actually have, you know, been abandoned by people that were supposed to love you. And that doesn't say anything about you, Aries. That says everything about them. Your worth is unchanging. You are worth more than people may have made you feel. You are not better or worse than anybody else in this world. That, you know, just because somebody didn't love you the way that you hoped that they would love you doesn't mean that you're unworthy of love. You are worthy of love, Aries. There is love there for you somewhere. You got to find it for yourself first. Unfortunately, it's not easy. Not easy at all. But this is what, the universe wants you to sort of think about at the moment is issues around love. And do you know what? I kind of feel for you, Aries, that because I'm picking up on some Aries here saying to me, I don't care about love. That's the nothingness. That's the insecurities. That's the fear talking. Because at the end of the day, all this comes back down to love. It all comes back down to love. If there's two guarantees in this world, it's love and fear, right? They're polar opposites. We hear it in the Bible. It's sort of like good versus evil, or love. People think it might be love versus hate, but hate comes from fear anyway. In my experience, it's love versus fear. It's not good versus evil. It's love versus fear. And that's intrinsically what good versus evil means. Okay? So the more that you fear love, the more that you are actually telling yourself that love is something to be feared. But love in its pure form is good. It's the fear that's trying to stop you from getting to it. Because I am picking up on someone who, it may be my Aries that I know, because he's pretty religious, but because I am picking up on someone talking about, the Bible and God and, God, even the idea, the construct of God versus Satan, love versus fear. Okay. It all comes down to the same stuff. All right. But advice for Aries with their shadow work. And yes, some of you are not happy with me saying that. I'm sorry if that's not, in line with what you thought. That, yes, it may be my personal experience and belief, I suppose, but that's what's coming through. Okay, that's the message I am getting here for you, Aries, that it's all coming down to this balance of love versus fear for you, and needing to immerse yourself in this idea of it's okay to have love. It's okay to want love. It's okay to love yourself. Advice for Aries with their shadow work, please. Definitely check your moon sign, Aries. I feel like it might be a strong message for you with your moon sign. We have the moth followed by the void. Be aware it's time to transform the void. The moth is transformation, evolution within self. You're evolving this void within you, the anxiety, the depression, staring deep into that void of insecurity and fear, and knowing that I'm going to do whatever it takes to transform that within myself. Without the darkness, there cannot be light. I am going to find the light and fly away from this darkness, transforming this darkness into something that has light. Breaking free from the chains that bind me. I have the power. I have the strength. The bear and the chains there. The bear is getting that song. F you, I won't do what you tell me. What you tell me is those chains. Trying to put me in fear. Trying to put me in hate. Trying to put me in insecurity and depression. F you, I won't do what you tell me. I'm going to break free from those chains that bind me, and I am going to find my way out of the void. I am going to transform myself, my life. And do you know what? Yeah, I've been afraid of love, so do you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to face that fear, and I am going to love with my whole heart. I'm going to throw it into love. Love hasn't given me what it should have. I'm not saying, it's been very unfair on you. I can feel the energy of unfairness coming towards you from love in the past, Aries. It has been unfair, But do you know what? The more that you're allowing that to control you and to chain you and to hold you back from love, it's exacerbating the problem. It's blocking love. The more you choose to transform all this darkness into light and choose love anyway, even if it hurts me, even if I'm scared, I choose love anyway. I have this inner power, this inner strength to roar my heart across the universe and say, F you, I won't do what you tell me. I'm going to come at you with love in my heart and break those chains anyway. Pretty heavy there, Aries. Oh, interesting. I have, like, when I start channeling, sometimes it goes heavy, and I don't mean to go quite so heavy sometimes and forceful with my messages, but it is what it is. That's what this full moon is all about, right? Accepting what is and not allowing your emotions to guilt trip you into feeling the negative stuff, influencing you, manipulating you. It's all about, where'd I write it? What will be, will be. I'm going to love with my whole heart anyway. That's your message today, Aries. Time to have a think about that. So, you are more than welcome to check your other placements. Like I said, your moon sign, quite strong with the full moon, of course. Subscribe to the channel, leave me a comment, and I have kind of been a bit forceful and confronting with quite a lot of the signs this week, so this month I should say. So leave me a message and tell me how much you hate me. That is fine. I will take it on board with my own shadow work stuff, guys, don't you worry. But hopefully I will see you all again very soon.